Hey together, here's Aaron the Black Dragon. And for this week, I have something more interesting for you. I'm gonna tell you a scary story, but not just one that I made up. This is a scary story that actually happened to me personally. And for some context before I jump into the story, this happened when I was working at my first place that I made my apprenticeship as a waiter, and I don't know if it was during my apprenticeship or 1 or 2 years after that. But the place that I had my apprenticeship in was a seminar hotel, which was a combination of a modern part and an historical part, an old castle from the Habsburger nobility. The modern part looks modern, standardized, nothing too special about it. The historical part, on the other hand, outside is the original castle facade. The inside, the lower rooms are all modern, but the upper rooms are still kept preserved for the historical values and for the prestige that they have. Around this whole castle is also a giant field of forest, I don't know how many acres, but they also belong to the place, so it could get kind of scary over there, specifically in the historical part. And that is where the story actually took place. It was basically a day like every other day. I started my shift, I think I started early in the day, and we had a wedding that day. The wedding had a reception, and that took place over in the historical part. So we were over there, had a typical reception, like 120 people or something like that. After everything calmed down, I was ordered to take care of everything, cleaning up and preparing the room for the next day. So I stood behind, was all alone, while all of the others were over in the restaurant in modern part and continued with the wedding. They had the dinner and whatnot over there. So I was completely alone. No one else, as far as I know, was in the historical part over in the castle. So was upstairs, gathered everything up. Was the typical eerie, kinda creepy atmosphere up there. Like the floor had its signature squeaking and gnarling sounds when you stepped on it, but nothing I wasn't used to. It was already dark at the time. I had a box full of glasses that I carried with me from upstairs down to the washing kitchen. In front of the washing kitchen, there's a separate door that leads into another room where it could hold seminars. I'm not sure about it at first, but I vaguely seem to remember that the door was closed when I first wandered up and down and whatnot. When I came down with the box full of glasses, the door was open. And not only that, I saw a burned hand reaching out of it and slowly dragging itself inwards. It kind of looked like a burned and at the same time barge-like hand, like skin, with grotesquely long fingers, so not human-like features. When I saw that, I just placed the box wherever, turned around and went back upstairs. I didn't want to have anything to do with that situation. So I said, let's just stay upstairs, clean everything up here for a while before I go back down there, because I don't want to know what I just saw. It was about half an hour later. I was mostly done upstairs. All I had to do now was carry all of the stuff down. So I began just that. I went down and looked over to the room. The door was a little bit more closed, I seem to remember, but other than that there was nothing suspicious. So I just went up there and closed the door. I did not want to take the risk. I continued carrying on with washing everything and cleaning up. Then, before I finally left and went over to the restaurant where the rest of the people were, I decided for myself that I want to take a look in there. Who knows what's in there? Maybe nothing. I just was curious at that point. Opened the door back up and I walked inside. I saw nothing. It was just quiet and I was alone there. And then something that sounded like whispers to me. And then I just went back out, closed the door and said, you know what? I think I'm done over here. I left and basically told my colleagues over in the restaurant the same thing that I'm telling you right now. To this day, I have no idea what that was. If it was real, if I was just hallucinating something. I was not tired at that moment. I was rather hyped up and full of energy. But there was something there for that brief moment, and I heard something. But was it real? Did I just imagine something? Who knows? There are a lot of stories around that place, with ghost sightings and other supernatural stuff. So maybe there was something to it? Maybe not. And again, this is a real story. This is something that happened to me. And I vividly remember it to this day. And even if people might not believe me and say that I just made it up, I, for my part, know what I experienced and I don't need validation on that. And if you say it's just bogus, then just let it be a creepy story. Because, if anything, you can get some creepy enjoyment out of that. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit different video here. And if you experienced any scary stories yourself, anything like supernatural or more like real life scary stories, leave them in the comments. And that actually scared me. We have a discussion about that. See you next time. Bye.